Hey RC enthusiasts, cut my rims down on my Red Cat RS10 using the drill press. There's tutorials of this. I didn't want to go over that again. There's plenty of guys out there that have shown how to do this. My little take on it was that I clamped the blade to the movable table on my drill press. I clamped just a regular old utility blade. Clamps down with a wood clamp, so it was sticking out, and tightened up the table just enough so it would move from side to side, but that I had a good up and down dimension, and that way I could just chuck these babies up. I used a 1024 screw and a couple washers and jam nuts, and the way I had it set was that when I put the wheel into the drill press, it would hit the top of the chuck, so I would get the exact same elevation for each wheel, wouldn't have to worry about it, so I could just put them in there, start the drill press, move the table over, the blade would cut it, pull the table back. So I just did it really fast, took no time at all, got real nice consistent cuts, as you can see, dead on a 1/4 inch there. So I've reduced these down to 1 inch. And then what I did was I drilled out these holes with a bit that's suitable for tapping to 440. Okay, so you get when you get a tap, it's convenient to have a drill bit that's going to give you the clearance, the hole you need, the starting hole. These are 440 tasty little button head Torx drives. These happen to fit right inside the bead lock, real nice. The head fits just perfect in there. I'm gonna have to drill these holes out a little bit, give it a clearance hole. These are drilled to 2.5. So got that part handled. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not gonna be putting screws on until after the G-Flex. I use G-Flex. It's top of the line. Epoxy gives you about 20 minutes working time. Really good stuff. Anything by West System, I swear by. I've used tons of it working on boats. And the way I'm going to align these babies so that I don't have any problems at all is when I want to put these on, these will just go right through here like this. See? It's nice. These nails are exactly the right size for the starter holes I drilled. So now I don't have any problems worrying about rim alignment. I'm just showing you these tricks, guys. Everybody's seen how to cut rims. I mean, it's nothing to cutting a rim, but it's all the little details that may help you get a nice, easy process out of it. Okay, so if you do have a drill press, just clamp your blade to the drill press. No sense in holding the blade in your hand. That introduces human error. Use your table. So now, as you can see, it's got a super nice alignment. Don't have to worry about anything going wrong with that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up my G-Flex, okay? And then I'm going to take it and dab it. Like, let's say this was where I had mixed let's say this is where the epoxy was mixed. I'm just going to go like this. Like that. And I'm going to put my nails through it. Drop it down. Just like that. Nothing to it, guys. Okay, so I've got the rims glued back together, the G-Flex epoxy. And what I like to do when I'm working with epoxy and you come into something where you've got a nice right angle is I make a fillet, which is nothing more than like when you're caulking something and you run your finger along it and you make a little bead, and it radically improves the strength. So not only are you getting a surface-to-surface bond, which is only about a 1/16 of an inch. Now you've got an overlapping bond that's about a 1/16 of an inch thick and about a 1/4 of an inch wide. See that little radius fillet in there? And then, of course, you want to be careful to get in there and clean it as best you can. Okay. Epoxy can be cleaned when you're working the piece. I would use denatured alcohol. But when you're cleaning your hands, I would use white vinegar. White vinegar works awesome, and it doesn't dry out your hands as bad as denatured alcohol does. Epoxy is relatively harmless, but it does have amines in it, and when it cures it has a slight amine blush, which is like an oily residue on the surface, and that actually does have some harmful effects on your system. So you kind of want to minimize the amount you touch epoxy, but I've worked with epoxy for so many years, I really don't care anymore. I mean, I've been up to my elbows in it. So could probably have done neater. It's definitely easier if the rims were larger, because I've got big old fat fingers, hard for me to get inside there. But if you make some tools, maybe use some Q-tips with denatured alcohol and stuff. If you wanted to be hyper anal about it, you can dip a Q-tip in some denatured, get in there, swap around, use a dry Q-tip, dry it up, and you can get rid of almost all of the epoxy residue on the inside. Really hide your work. Now, you see that I've got the nails through it. I don't want these nails to get glued in there. So once this epoxy gets to a certain point where it's kind of gelled, I'm going to turn them over. I'm going to force the nails out real slow. I don't want to tear the thing apart, but at the same time I definitely do not want to have the nails glued in there, obviously. And that's why it's good to hang on to your glue board so that you can check the way this stuff is drying. Like right now, I think you can see from the reflection of the light, it's very liquid. Okay? So no worries there. But once this starts to gel, once it gets to a point where it's gelled, what I'll do is before I push them through, I'll just take my needle nose and I'll twist each one of these. Just twist them to break them free. And then when I push them through, I'll push down by pushing on the outside of this glued on piece, so that I'm not putting any undue stresses on it. And then the thing that's going to gel first is that fillet. The thicker epoxy is, the faster it cures. So that fillet's actually going to help hold it together even better as I'm taking my little nail fixtures out of there. Okay, guys, everybody knows how to cut rims, but I like to show you my particular take on it. There's so many different ways people can cut rims, but if you take your time, you think about how you're doing it, you get set up, have everything you need. It doesn't have to be a scramble. You can do it pretty easy, pretty smooth. And of course, I'm not worried at all about the glue on the inside. That's just going to add strength. But you can see there's a little bit of glue shine in there, but this is this is going to be a muddy, dirty crawler, so I'm not too worried about it. Thanks for watching, guys, and have fun cutting your rims and gluing them back together. You can also use JB Weld, which is something you can get at the hardware store. Problem with JB Weld is you can really see it. What's nice about this stuff is it dries clear. You don't see it so bad if you're a little sloppy. Alright. Okay, guys, it's a Mountain Storm tire press. Lexan. Great big hand wheels so you can rapidly manipulate them. Let you get the bead lock on your tire without having to struggle. Great big puffy tire like an HB Rover like this with a big foam in it. Tell you what, man, I was trying to fight one on one of these little 1-inch rims here. So I went down to my shop and I made myself a tire press made out of polycarbonate. It'll last a lifetime, bulletproof. These are my hand wheels that I designed. Metal inserts, they'll never wear out. Big, easy to manipulate. Once you got one side dialed in, flip it over. You don't even have to take the tire out, and you can get the other side. Get your bead locks on. Okay. But the beauty of it is that you won't have to fight with it. Alright, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting Mountain Storm. You can catch up with me on the rccrawlerforum.com, or you can check out my videos on youtube.com. My username on both venues is Mountain Storm. My name's R.W. Keaton. You can email me at rw_keeton@yahoo.com. This is what I do, guys. I make tools for hobbyists. Been doing it for a long time. Got a full shop, and I've got a head full of ideas, so stay tuned.